Today, I got something in the mail that I cannot wait to share with you guys. As you know, if you follow this channel, I love my Bandais, and I have another one to add to the collection that I'm quite excited about. So, what's in this box of mysteries? Well, I'm not going to make you wait because I already opened it. So, inside lies the Shie Dance Bandai Godzilla. So as you know, I have an affinity for Bandais. They were the cornerstone of my collection before I downgraded, before I moved out here to Texas. But that doesn't mean I'm going to stop collecting them because, well, we are now living in the world of the Godzilla Store exclusives. Now that the Godzilla Store exists. Before, back in the day, you had theater exclusives. And, the beauty about theater exclusives was that they were for completionists or people who liked the multicolored versions of the same mold. I am a very meat and potatoes kind of guy. I just want to figure out of what it was representing on screen. So, past Godzilla Fest, while I was out in Japan, Bandai was showing off what they have coming out, and they revealed this dude, which is the Shie Dance Godzilla from Invasion of the Astral Monsters, also known as Godzilla vs. Monster Zero. This is the victory dance that Godzilla does after he and Rodan victoriously defeat King Ghidorah on Planet X. So if you watched my video from about a week ago, I reviewed the Super 7 version of this. And I don't know, it was just kismet or what, but both Super 7 and Bandai announced a version of this Godzilla roughly about the same time. So it might just be one of those instances where there's two meteor movies or two volcano movies coming out, but I have a soft spot for this movie. It was one of the first few I ever saw as a kid, and I think that most people will agree that Invasion of the Astral Monsters is probably amongst the peak of the early show eras, probably the best of the 60s films. Now again, tastes do vary, but as far as I know from especially a lot of older fans, this is their absolute favorite. Partially because it happened to be the one they saw as a kid, but I think overall it stands the test of time. I do think it's better than Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. But I digress. You're not here to hear me talk about the movies. You're here to watch a toy review. So this is a Bandai Movie Monster vinyl. So it stands about 6.5 inches. It's kind of a hefty fare, but this is something new with Bandai where it feels like we're getting to the point where they're, how do I put this, scraping the barrel, if you will, for new figures. For the longest time, there were figures of monsters that people clamored for, we never got, especially during the early days of the Bandais, especially the mid-90s. The classic Showa monsters were, it was a weird hodgepodge of what was out there and what was not. We still don't have Kumonga or Spiga. We don't have... we didn't get a Titanosaurus until the mid-2000s. A lot of that stuff. If a new movie came out, we basically got, the full run, except for Final Wars. There's still figures from that Final Wars we have not gotten in a proper Bandai form. But again, I digress. So it feels like Bandai is moving into a new territory of, well, how can we sell you the same Godzilla figure over and over again? Well, what happened in the movie, and can we do something with that? And along with this guy, they also revealed another -1 final figure that is what they call the poster variant. And I've seen that one in person as well. It was right next to this guy. I think I got video of it. I'll have it in this video. If not, you can go on our Instagram and see it. But basically, some minor tweaks to the mold that was already established, and you have a new figure. So this is the Shie Dance. Like I said, once Godzilla defeats King Ghidorah, he does this little hop and whap, and yeah, it is a thing with fans. You either love it or you hate it. So seeing Bandai do this in a vinyl form is Very interesting. So I'm curious what else they're cooking up with the movie monster line, because if I feel like they're starting to go into deep cut stuff, and I'm not complaining, because the weirder the better, in my opinion. So you might be wondering, what the heck is this attached to him? Well, this is his stand. As you can see, he's not going to stand properly without this stand, and this is one of, I believe, a first for a Godzilla figure of this style. Now, the problem is that this thing is attached to the tag right here, so I'm going to do my best to free it with my trusty knife here, and get that off there. There we go. So let's put him there for a second. So this is the bag. Keep in the bag. Get that open. Okay, here is the rock stand. It's a nice Planet X rock, and this is where Godzilla is going to go so that he could stand, I believe. How does it go? He goes this way. I think I'm doing this right. We'll see. I think that's right. So it turns out I am adult. I had to go online and take a look at the promo images, and so yes, so I had this thing backwards. It actually goes like this. Foot in there, foot goes in the front right there. So that way the tail is held right here. Stand them up so the tail lines up with this back end. Foot down. And there you go. Your Godzilla is rocking. All right. So this is a Movie Monster Series vinyl. It's a Bandai. Now, again, the unique thing is because it's in a very interesting pose. He still has his mobility, and you can kind of change the action of the dance, so you can get that. But essentially, you want the pose. That's what it's going to be. This is truly the first Bandai that is, well, I wouldn't say the first. I would argue the first would be that Shin Godzilla zipline vinyl that was made a few years ago for the zipline attraction in Awaji as just a display piece. But this is truly a display piece. This is exactly what this is. This is not a toy that you can really play with. So here's the tag. There's the Shie dance right there. Tag is actually different. It's got this beautiful purple line on it. Inside looks like it's very basic though, and yeah, they got little instructions that I should have looked at because, well, I rush into things and I'm an idiot. And then on the back, there you go. So the quality on this figure is very good though. The sculpting is quite nice. Let me zoom in there a little bit and focus. There we go. So I will give Bandai credit. They've been getting better and better with their sculpts on these later stage Movie Monster Series figures. There have been some real iffy ones. Kaiser Ghidorah, I'm looking at you. But beyond that, this is well made. Look, they even bothered to slightly paint somewhat down the tail. Of course, they leave that out. But his scales do have the slight yellowing, a color look that they have in the film. Zoom in there. There you go. But the paint job's very nice. I do feel that with these Godzilla Store exclusives, Bandai is putting a smidgen of effort into these things, even more so than some of the Bandai Premium. I have not gotten a hold of one yet. I have seen them in public, the Shimo and Scar King figure, and I cannot justify the price they were asking. So, now, is this figure worth it? Well, for someone like me who loves weird deep cut stuff, absolutely. I love this thing. He's going to go next to my Super 7 version. In fact, hold on. Here is the Super 7 to compare. So as you can see, Super 7's doesn't have the rock. He just stands on his tail. Obviously bigger. And you're going to get a slightly different paint job. I mean, this has got a gloss on it. This is a matte. But it all depends. So I got this aftermarket. I believe at the Godzilla store he runs about $35 to $40. The buyer I bought it from, upcharged about $10 and I had to pay some shipping. But the Godzilla store exclusives tend to aim that way. They tend to be about $10 more than the standard Movie Monster Series figures that are basically all over on the shelves in Japan. So when you're getting something like this, expect to pay a little more. I believe he was up for order on the American store. He might still be. Don't quote me. But for the most part, Bandai's been pretty good about getting these figures that are store exclusives in Japan over to the US store. It might take a few months. I believe the Gemstone Megalon is now finally shipping out. I've had mine for a few months. So if you're lucky, you know someone in Japan who can send them to you. Shout out to my buddy Kazuki. It is an easier way to get stuff faster, but if you're not in a rush, order through the Godzilla store. But I'm happy to see that we're entering this kind of stage of what else can we do with Godzilla toys? Well, there are poses and there are moments, and let's capture those in glorious plastic and vinyl. I am hoping to get my hands on the poster variant -1. The version that I saw at the Godzilla Fest looked astonishing. It is 1,000 times better than the standard figure that Bandai has released thus far. So hopefully in a few weeks I will have one of those. But in the meantime, I'm very happy with this. Like I said, I'm a Bandai guy. I can't say no to most of them. And doing stuff like this is right up my alley. I absolutely dig it. So again, tastes do vary. So if this isn't your thing, you don't need it. But if it is, highly recommend it. This is a beautiful figure, and it can be the cornerstone of a lot of people's collections, especially if you collect by movie. I know a lot of people that love this dance, and to have it next to a King Ghidorah and maybe an Exion that's in your collection, perfect. Well, there you have it. That is my review for the Shie Dance Bandai Movie Monster Series Godzilla. Remember, if you like what you see, we do have a show. It's called The Kaiju Kingdom Podcast. You can find us at thekaijukingdompodcast.com. And if you don't like to download, well, you can stream all of our shows from your favorite podcast streamer, including Apple, Spotify, or wherever else you might find better podcasts. That also includes our sister show, Common Kaisers. It's on the same feed. You get that as a beautiful bonus. And as an announcement, considering that the streaming services only have about the last 50 episodes or so that have been released, if you want to go back and listen to our back catalog, they are now all completely archived on our website, the Kaiju Kingdom Podcast. So just go to our archives tab. You can download every episode that we have available for you. And there's 13 years worth at this point. So recommend go give some of those older shows a listen. They're a lot of fun. We're also on social media. You can find us on X, Instagram, and Facebook.com. They're right there. Don't need to wrangle them off. If you want to keep up to date with all the news in the world of kaiju, you want to say hi, that is the place to do it. And on that note, that will do it for this edition of the KOFFERS. Thanks for watching, guys. And we'll see you next time.